Hello again, everybody, and welcome to Realtime Miracles with Dr. Chuck Lester. This is the show we tell about testimonies, the goodness of God, what others have gone through, been through, and made it through when medical science, sometimes even life itself says they shouldn't be here, but they are. And today I have a special guest for this second episode. I have Miss Judy Bone here, and she is a cancer survivor, not just a cancer survivor, but a different kind of cancer that you're not used to hearing. And I want to welcome you, Judy, to the show. Thank you for coming. And I want you to tell a little bit about yourself.
Thank you, Dr. Lester. I am thrilled to be here. Thank you so much for the invitation. I am actually a survivor of esophageal cancer.
Esophageal.
Yes, sir. And it was diagnosed in 2019.
Okay. And esophageal cancer is cancer of the esophagus.
That's right.
Will you tell us about just a little bit about the esophagus?
Right. Well, the esophagus is what, when you eat, your food travels down by muscular action into your stomach. Well, of course, my first question was when the doctor told me, Miss Bone, you need an esophagogastrectomy. I thought, what is that?
Right.
And so he, of course, explained that to me, that it is actually a procedure where they remove, in my case, your entire esophagus.
Wow.
And a portion of my stomach.
Wait. Back up. Let's take this moment.
Right.
Okay. So the esophagus carries food from your mouth to your stomach.
That's right.
I'm just trying to get this for clarity. You explained it well, but I just want to make sure I'm talking.
Right.
And they had to remove your entire esophagus.
They did.
That's amazing.
It is.
And so I tell you what, let's go back. I'm stuck there, but let's go back. Let's go back to the diagnosis, before the diagnosis. Right. Were you having symptoms?
Right. People want to know what were the symptoms of that, because so many times esophageal cancer is not detected until it's already outside of the esophageal wall, and they don't realize that they might have a problem. The problems are when you're swallowing, it's difficulty in swallowing. Maybe you have heartburn or acid reflux, not just occasionally, but very frequently. Those are some. Okay. Also, if you have a hoarseness or a persistent cough, those are things that are indicators that you might be needing to pay attention to something that, because of course with all cancer, early diagnosis is so important.
It's key.
Yes, it is.
So when you received this diagnosis, where were you?
Well, we were actually in Jacksonville, Florida, living at the time. My husband was a pastor in that area, and we've relocated now. But it was kind of funny when I got the call from the surgeon to give me the diagnosis, because they had sent my biopsies all over the country, my doctor said, and they were trying to determine, is it cancer, is it not cancer? So because my cancer was both precancer and cancerous inside of all up and down my esophagus, they determined that's why I needed the complete esophagogastrectomy.
So usually we hear one of the other, pre or definite.
Yes.
You had both. You had cancer and you had cells, if I'm correct.
Yes.
That were going to turn into more cancer.
Yes.
And it was all up and down your esophagus.
Yes.
Now, did you tell me you were in a grocery store?
Yeah. That's what I was saying. It was kind of funny, because there I was back in Walmart in the grocery department, in the meat department. I had just grabbed a 5-pound pack of ground chuck because I was having all these meals I was going to make for that. So there I was, and my phone rings, and it was my doctor, and he tells me, you have esophageal cancer, and the surgeon will be in touch with you soon, and we need to do this surgery. Well, of course, I was standing there like in shock, and just didn't know, your life. When you get a call like that, your life just flashes before you, because you don't know, are you going to survive or you're not going to survive?
Right. But I find it interesting, and hearing your story that you were in a grocery store, you were buying ground beef, ground chuck,
Yes,
and then you get this call in the grocery store,
that's right.
buying food
Yeah,
that says the part of your body that transfers the food from your mouth to the stomach,
right.
transfers the food while you're buying food.
That's
It's going to
weird,
have to
isn't
be,
it?
wow.
I know.
I mean, but did it ever occur to you, and I know you're a woman of faith, your husband is a retired pastor,
Yes,
Dr. Bone,
yes.
okay, and did it ever cross your mind that maybe, we say sometimes that God has a sense of humor, and you being in the grocery store,
Right.
and you're hearing about this surgery, but God knew at that point
Yes,
that you would have the miraculous story
He
that you
did.
have now.
He did.
God knows the end from the beginning.
He did.
And I mean, look at you. You don't look like you've been through anything. So getting back to the surgery, and give me the name of the surgery again.
It's an esophagogastrectomy.
Okay, esophagogastrectomy.
That's right.
And that's where they take your esophagus out. Remove your entire esophagus.
Right.
And then what?
Well, after the surgery, they reconnect the reshaped stomach. And so I was in the hospital for about 8 days, and well, a few days in ICU and all. And so you, of course, you can't eat.
Right.
So I had the benefit, I will call it that, of a feeding tube at the time. And so that's where you're nourished, of course. And so then shortly thereafter, I developed an infection. So, by the time it was all said and done, I got a lot of the bells and whistles that the hospital offers,
Right.
But
So when you say they reshape your stomach,
yes,
they actually take part of your stomach, if I'm correct, and make a new esophagus?
they do. They just reshape what was left of my stomach by cutting on the side over there and then letting that other hang down, I guess.
Wow.
That's the layman's version of that.
Yeah. That's what we need.
That's what.
You're the expert, but we need the layman's version.
Right.
Uh-huh.
So, and then they went, as high as they could. Since there was precancers there, they didn't want any extras, left, any cells up there. So they did that. And so stitched me all up, and I was, it took, like I said, 8 days, which that's a little bit shorter than the average. A lot of people are in there 10 days or more. Got home and had a home health care nurse to come and to assist because I wound up having a pretty good infection. So I had to have a PICC line and the feeding tube and, like I said, so many different things there.
So an infection happened after you got home.
It was actually before. They had to actually reopen my incision in the hospital. And that's a funny story, but not really funny. But they they reopened it for the infection. And they put a wound vac on there. I don't know if you're familiar with that, but it's kind of like that. It's not saran wrap, but that sealing stuff that just kind of sticks. Well, it's kind of like that, but it's like duct tape.
Right. Right.
It sticks there, and they put it over there, and it suctions out the infection. Well, I call it had a blowout multiple times because it was just too much for it. So, of course, every time it had to be removed, there was more damage to my skin that was surrounding the area. But morphine and God's grace,
God's grace.
I was able, to get that. But I did have to come home with that at the wound vac for several weeks, actually.
So at the time of diagnosis,
Right.
if you don't mind me asking, how old were you?
I was 68 years old, which is the average age. But nowadays, in the last probably 5 years or maybe a little more, many people, men especially in their 40s, are being diagnosed.
Wow.
Yes.
Men in their 40s.
Yes, they
With
are.
esophageal cancer.
Yes, right.
Okay. And what is, if there is one, the life expectancy?
Right. Well, if they are able in the early stage to diagnose it, there are times when they can actually just cut out the portion of your esophagus, and they don't have to do like they did with me. And they can just cut out a little portion and reconnect it.
Wow.
But if it goes any further, if the tumor broaches the esophageal wall, the survival rate, it goes extremely down. But the average is 5 years survival rate.
A 5-year survival rate
That's correct.
for esophageal cancer.
Yes.
And you had the diagnosis. You were diagnosed in 2019,
That's right.
meaning that you are now a 7-year.
I am.
So you have beaten some incredible odds.
Yes, that's so true.
You have gone over, and you look great.
Thank you.
And you said you were 68 at
I
the
was.
time. So 68, 7, if my arithmetic is correct, that makes you 75 years old.
I just turned 75. Yuck.
You did, wow. You look fantastic.
Thank you.
And you definitely do not look like what you've been through. So just for the listening audience, the viewers, you were diagnosed. You were standing in the grocery store. They called you and said, it's esophageal cancer. You'll have to have surgery
That's right.
to have your stomach, your esophagus removed,
Yes.
your stomach reshaped
Yes.
to form another esophagus
Right.
so that you'll be able to do what we do every day, 2 or 3 times a day, and that's eat.
That's right. Right.
Wow. And so there are no machines that you're on or anything
No.
like that. God's grace.
Yes.
Okay. So
Yes.
so now let's go to the pastor.
Okay.
Let's go to Dr. Bone,
Okay.
your husband, your
Right.
loving husband.
Yes.
You were in the grocery store alone when you got the
I
call.
was.
When you told Dr. Bone, what was his reaction?
Well,
And how important is it to have a caring, because we know he loves you, a caring spouse or a support system
Right.
with this type of diagnosis and this type of news, knowing what the prognosis could be?
Right. Well, that's probably the hardest thing that I ever had to do was to tell him. He was actually waiting in the parking lot of Walmart
Okay.
when I came out. And of course, I guess I looked like a ghost. I don't know. But I told him, I said, I just got a call and I have esophageal cancer. Like he turns white and we both cry. But we knew, as a believer, for many years, we know that God wants to work good
Yes.
in every circumstance.
Yes.
And so, though we were in shock, of course, it's so important to have a support group and a caregiver. I mean, he actually, and I tell people this all the time, I think it's harder for the caregiver than it is the patient.
Absolutely. You know what? I tell people all the time, and a lot of the viewers, most of them probably know about my diagnosis, not diagnosis, but we tested positive for COVID. They know that story.
Right.
And I tell people all the time, people call me champ, but my wife is the real champ. The caregiver,
Yes.
exactly what you just said. A lot of
Right.
times it's harder for the caregiver than the patient.
It is. They just want to make it better, to fix it for you. And, they're limited. Now, he did get a quick training from my home health care nurse
Right.
and how to run all the machines that I had to have when I got home. But he jumped right in there. He was the best, continued to be. And of course, we had a church family
Yes.
that were supportive and many people praying. And so, when the Lord had given me a verse before I had the surgery, because I was, when you're diagnosed like that, as a believer, the Lord is drawing you to Him
Right.
to just lay it before Him.
Right.
And so I actually just had a time with the Lord and just was trying my best. But I said, Lord, you could just let this be like they made a wrong diagnosis. That was somebody else. I was giving the Lord all these great ideas of things that He could do.
Right. Been there, done that.
And it was like He was saying, I'm not even listening to you. But then when it got real and I just laid it out and prayed what I call the whatever prayer,
Yeah.
I just said, Lord, whatever is your will. If it's whether I live or if I come to heaven, it's yours, and I am yours. So he gave me that verse, Jeremiah 29:11.
Oh, yes.
And
I know the plans
yeah,
I have for you.
yes,
Not anybody else.
right,
I,
yes,
God.
right. And
Right.
that spoke to me in that moment of despair
Right.
where I laid it before the Lord. And in that moment, I gave it to the Lord.
Yes.
And it has sustained me through these years now, 7 years.
Right. So to the viewers, what Judy just said was a whatever prayer. And I love the way you put that, whatever your will is.
Yes,
And I love the way you put whether I live
yes.
or whether I go to heaven. You didn't say whether I die.
Nope.
You said whether I come to heaven.
Yes.
I love that. And so you just really just gave this over to, and it helped that you have a spouse that's a man of
Yes,
God, a
absolutely.
man of faith, and it helped there. So he learned how to work all the machines. What was the scenery like with the machines? What if someone were to walk into your room, what would they have seen at that point? Because this is major stuff. This is
Yeah.
a major surgery.
Yes. Well, like I said, I came home with all the bells and whistles. I had the
Yes.
wound vac,
Uh-huh.
so that was a separate machine.
Yes.
I had a PIC line, which
Right.
it had double antibiotics that I had to take for like 6 weeks
Right.
to kill the infection that was in my neck.
Which probably had to been changed every so many hours.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
And he was the man-owned cog. You
Wow.
know? But you know, I did a great thing. As a wife wants to take care of her husband, this is just a funny little thing. I always wanted to take care of him, and so before I even went to the hospital, and I was trying to make plans, had things together at home, so I ordered him Nutrisystem.
Okay.
So he could be on Nutrisystem while I wasn't eating. You know, I thought
Right.
that was fair.
So he could have his meals already.
yes, yeah, I took care of him.
Looking out for each other. And I think that's remarkable
Right.
that you're going through this life altering, life challenging,
Mm-hmm.
even if you don't mind me saying it, life threatening situation.
Yes.
But you're still saying, how can I make my spouse, my husband, what can I do for him?
Yes.
That is amazing.
Right.
That is amazing.
Yeah.
You know, on a good day, many people are selfish.
We all are.
But that was selfless.
It was. It
That
was. a
that was
good
you
thing.
during your time,
Mm-hmm.
you know, of hardship, thinking about someone else, and then for him, I had a pick line, and I know my wife, my mom, had to get up every 4 hours
Right. Yes.
to change the bag for the antibiotic.
Yeah.
So for him to have been doing that
Yeah.
around the clock,
Yeah.
it shows the love, the unity that's in your marriage.
Yes.
And
It
we
did.
give God praise for that. We give God praise for him looking out for you. We give God praise for you looking out for him.
Yeah.
That is amazing. So we've heard about two of the machines that was in the room.
Then I had the feeding tube, and that
Right.
was another whole thing.
Wow.
Because somehow or another, my feeding tube decided it wanted to clog up a few times, which means I had to have it because there was no other food coming. I couldn't drink or eat at that point. So I had to have the feeding tube, and it was very important.
Yeah.
So did you know that you can actually pour Coca-Cola in your in your feeding tube?
They never told me that one.
Well, you know, the nurse, I had a great nurse. She was
Yeah.
fabulous.
Well, my nurse, my wife was fabulous, so she probably never told me that one because she knew it would affect my blood sugar. She was looking
Well,
out,
yeah, we
but
need
I
Diet
wish I
Coke,
had
maybe.
known that.
So, but anyway, and then it happened again, and we were not able to fix it. But I had to go to the ER, and they had to change out the next day. I had to go to the doctor. It's weird, but they just popped that thing right out.
Wow.
I know.
They know what they're doing.
I'm glad.
So one final question on that. The feeding tube and you not being able to eat solid food. From the time you had the surgery to the time you were able to eat solid foods again.
Right.
How long was that?
Oh, it was probably close to a month.
Okay.
And I just wanted coffee so bad.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and so the first bit of coffee, it was just like a teaspoon or two. And the disappointing thing is it did not taste good at all at that point. I thought, oh man, I've waited all this long and it just doesn't even taste good. But then I was able to start with very small, like soups and grits and things like that. And then, built on up till the feeding, till
Until you
I
were
could.
back to right. So after all of this, and again, your story is remarkable. You're looking at a miracle. You wrote a book.
I have.
Tell us a little bit about your book and how we can get it. And
Okay.
You have a copy here.
This is my book, and it's titled In His Glow, because I want to reflect Christ in what I do in His glow. And I actually have an acrostic with glow, the word glow, and it helps you to know how can you live when you're gone through things. It doesn't have to be cancer. It could be any number of things in your life, divorce, heartbreaks, depression, any of those things. How can we glow even in the middle of that?
Right.
And so the G is for to be grateful, right where God has you. And then to L, lean on Him with all that you have. And O is to obey. Just do what He tells you to do. And then W, to just walk with Him.
Okay.
That's
okay.
But the book is actually my testimony. It tells from start to finish all the things that you probably want to know, and in very detail, even about the wound vac blowout and a few other things that I believe will bless you.
And so it's In His glow.
Yes.
The G is
Be grateful.
to be grateful. The L is to lean.
Lean on the Lord.
The O is to obey. And the W is to walk.
Just walk with Him.
Walk with God.
Right.
That is beautiful. And how can we get the book?
Okay, it's on Amazon. You just go to Judy Bone in Amazon, Judy Bone Books, and it's there. And or you can go to my website and order it through there. It's judybone.com. So I try to keep it simple for myself.
And you go around. You're a speaker as well.
I do.
You're an author. You're a speaker. You're a survivor. Most importantly, you're a woman of faith. Tell us about some of your speaking. Who do you speak to? Where do you speak? Some of the engagements.
Right. I have spoken with some cancer groups. I like that. I've spoken with senior adults. I love them, and they're so wonderful to speak to.
Yes.
I've spoken at women's events where they have a large gathering of women, and I share my testimony through churches and, just in business women's groups and things like that. And another thing that the Lord led me in my recovery period was to train to be a Christian image consultant.
Oh.
And I thought,
tell us about that.
I thought, Lord, why this, but I determined, what God had in mind for that.
Yes.
Because whenever we go through hard life events or critical things in our life, the very first thing that we let go is our appearance and our outside. But if we will, what I try to do is teach women using color analysis what colors to wear.
Yes.
And wearing the right color just brightens you, or it can pull you down. So I teach that with in women's events and things like that. And I have found in so many women that have breast cancer or anything, like I've said in life, that it is just a tiny thing they can do to be to encourage them, to take that next step.
Yes. Well, that is amazing. That is a beautiful thing. That is a ministry within itself.
It is.
Because like you said, so when we're going through things on the inside, we have a tendency to let the outside go.
We do.
And it's important that if we're going to walk with God, we look like God. We walk in the image of God, the Imago Dei.
Yeah, we're representatives.
We're representatives. And I think that is a beautiful story. So again, viewers, what has happened, what you've heard is Judy Bone was diagnosed with esophageal cancer. She had to have surgery to have her esophagus removed. The esophagus carries the food from the mouth to the stomach.
Yes.
Her entire esophagus had to be removed.
It did.
Okay. And they took your stomach and reshaped it to make another esophagus. Yep. And now you can eat anything you want.
I do.
You do. You are 7 years
Yes.
cancer-free.
Right.
which means that you have beaten the survival rate by 2 years already.
I have.
And there will
By
be
God's
several
grace.
years to come. By God's grace,
Uh-huh.
you came back, you authored a book, In His Glow.
Right.
Then you went on to become a Christian image consultant.
That's right.
And you go around speak.
Yeah.
That, they overcame by the words of their testimony. And when you go giving your testimony and doing this kind of work, it can do nothing but help people, and God is well pleased. So I thank you for coming on the show. I thank you for everything that you've had to offer so far. But I want to do two final things. I want to ask you, if you're speaking to seniors, because you said the average age for diagnosis for this is 68.
Yes.
If you're speaking to younger people, because people in their 40s are now being diagnosed with esophageal
They
cancer.
are.
If you're speaking to men, because they're 3 times more likely to get it,
Right.
what would you say
I
to
would-
what advice would you give? Just any words in your own words.
Okay. Well, I think the main thing is to be aware of your symptoms that you're having. Don't just slough it off. If you are having persistent issues with swallowing, that is, your food gets stuck in your esophagus or things like that, or if there's a lot of burning and reflux and all of those kinds of things. If you have a hoarseness in your voice, don't be afraid. Go ahead to your doctor.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
a lot of times, all it's necessary is just some acid reflux medicine, and that's a quick cure. So do that before it damages the entire esophagus.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for coming and for being on the show. I wrote a book called The Realtime Miracle by Dr. Chuck Lester, and I would just like to present a copy to you.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
I'm excited to read this and
Yes.
fill in the blanks. And I want to give you my book, In His Glow.
In His Glow.
And it says, Guiding You to God's Bright and Beautiful Path.
Well, thank you. Thank you. I'm excited to read this. As a
Yeah.
matter of fact, this will be a weekend read. And I want to tell you, viewers, In His Glow, go to Amazon,
Right?
go to Judy
Judy
Bones.
Books
Well-
on Amazon.
Judy Bones Books on Amazon, and you can purchase this. It's a must for your library. You've heard the story, you've heard the miraculous story of Judy Bone, a miraculous story for a remarkable person. And we just thank God that you're here. We thank God for what you're doing. We thank God that you give God all the glory,
I
you
do.
and Dr. Bone.
Yes, sir.
We thank God for you all. We thank God for you all's ministry. I'm asking you, go on, buy this book. You'll be glad you did. You've heard the different age groups. She represents all ages. The seniors who are diagnosed with esophageal cancer, those who are middle-aged, men in their 40s, women in their 40s, and then men are 3 times more likely to get it than women. So even for men, go and buy this. You'll be glad you bought it. It's worth the money. It's worth the purchase, and it's not that expensive. So again, Judy, thank you so much for coming on the show. God bless you and God keep you.
Thank you.
Let's say goodbye to the audience. Goodbye, everybody. We'll see you. You can watch this show on YouTube, and you can see it on Comcast Xfinity during the month of June. God bless you.